Adrian Voss was no stranger to power. At 38, Head built Voss Tech into a global empire, his name synonymous with innovation and wealth. His Manhattan penthouse gleamed with marble and glass, a testament to his success. But behind the polished exterior, Adrian's life was a hollow shell. His wife Claire had left him a year ago, unable to handle the demands of his relentless ambition. Shed abandoned their newborn daughter, Lily, too, leaving Adrian to navigate fatherhood alone. Head hired Elena Martinez, a quiet, unassuming woman in her late 20s, to care for Lily. Elena was efficient, kind, and invisible, exactly what Adrian wanted in a maid, or so he thought. That night, Adrian had been working late, as usual, when a nagging unease pulled him from his office. Elena hadn't answered his texts about Lily's bedtime routine, which was unlike her. On a whim, Head driven through Central Park, a shortcut home, when he spotted them. The sight of Elena and Lily on that bench hit him like a punch to the chest. His daughter, his precious Lily, was out in the cold, her tiny face pressed against Elena's worn jacket. Rage and confusion surged through him as he parked his sleek black Tesla and strode toward them. "Elena!" His voice cracked like a whip in the quiet night. Elena jolted awake, her dark eyes wide with fear. She clutched Lily tighter, the baby stirring but not waking. "Mr. Voss," she stammered, her voice hoarse. "You can explain. Explain?" Adrian's tone was ice cold, but his heart pounded with a mix of fury and dread. "Why is my daughter sleeping on a park bench? Why are you here?" Elena's gaze dropped, her shoulders trembling. "I didn't have anywhere else to go," she whispered. Adrian's anger faltered. He noticed the bags under her eyes, the way her hands shook as she adjusted Lily's blanket. This wasn't the composed maid he knew. Something was terribly wrong. "Get in the car," he said, softer now, though his voice still carried an edge. "We're going home." "Then you're telling me everything." Unraveling back at the penthouse, Adrian sat across from Elena in his pristine living room. Lily slept soundly in her crib upstairs, monitored by a state-of-the-art baby system. Elena sat on the edge of the couch, her hands clasped tightly as if bracing for judgment. Her worn sneakers and threadbare coat looked out of place against the opulent decor. "Start talking," Adrian said, his arms crossed. Elena took a shaky breath. "I've been evicted," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "My landlord raised the rent 3 months ago. I couldn't keep up. I've been staying in shelters, but tonight there were no beds left. I didn't want to bring Lily to a place like that, so I came to the park. I thought she'd be safer with me." Adrian's jaw tightened. "Why didn't you tell me? I pay you a fair wage. You've been with us for months." Elena's eyes glistened with unshed tears. "It's not about the money, Mr. Voss. I send most of it to my family in Mexico. My mother's sick and my younger brother needs school supplies. I didn't want to burden you. You're so busy, and Lily she's my priority." Adrian stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. Had never asked about Elena's life. To him, she was just the maid who kept his home running and his daughter cared for. He hadn't noticed the exhaustion in her eyes or the way her clothes hung looser each week. Guilt twisted in his gut, but he pushed it aside, focusing on the immediate problem. "You should have said something," he said, his voice softer but still firm. "You put my daughter at risk." "I know," Elena said, a tear slipping down her cheek. "I'm so sorry. I love Lily like she's my own. I'd never let anything happen to her." Her words struck a chord in Adrian. He saw the sincerity in her eyes, the fierce protectiveness she had for Lily. But there was something something she wasn't saying. He leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "What else, Elena? There's more to this, isn't there?" She hesitated, then reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a crumpled envelope. "This came today," she said, handing it to him. "It's why I didn't go back to the shelter." Adrian opened the envelope, his eyes scanning the letter inside. It was a legal notice, accusing Elena of neglecting her duties as Lily's caregiver and threatening to report her to child services. The letter was anonymous, but the implications were clear. Someone was trying to frame Elena to take Lily away. "Who sent this?" Adrian demanded. "I don't know," Elena said, her voice breaking. "I swear, Mr. Voss, I've done nothing but care for Lily. I don't know who would do this." Adrian's mind raced. The letter was a calculated move, but by whom? Claire, his ex-wife, crossed his mind, but she'd shown no interest in Lily since leaving. His business rivals? A disgruntled employee? He didn't know, but he wasn't about to let anyone threaten his daughter or Elena. The investigation. The next morning, Adrian called his head of security, Marcus, a former private investigator with a knack for uncovering secrets. "Find out who sent this letter," Adrian instructed, handing him the envelope. "And dig into Elena's background. I need to know everything." Marcus nodded, his expression unreadable. "You sure about this, boss?" "She's just the maid." "She's more than that," Adrian snapped, surprising himself with the intensity of his words. "She's been taking care of Lily when I couldn't. I owe her the truth." While Marcus worked, Adrian insisted Elena stay in the penthouse's guest suite. She protested, but he wouldn't hear it. "You're not going back to a shelter," he said. "Not with my daughter counting on you." Elena's gratitude was tinged with unease. She wasn't used to kindness, especially not from someone like Adrian, whose world seemed so far removed from hers. Over the next few days, an unexpected bond formed. Adrian found himself spending more time at home watching Elena with Lily. Her gentle lullabies, the way she made Lily giggle with silly faces, it stirred something in him he hadn't felt in years. Warmth. Connection. But the threat loomed. Marcus returned with news that turned Adrian's blood cold. The letter had been traced to a private mailbox rented by Claire's lawyer. Claire, who'd vanished without a trace, was back, and she wanted custody of Lily not out of love, but to leverage Adrian's wealth in a new divorce settlement. The letter was her attempt to discredit Elena and paint Adrian as an unfit father. "She's been watching you," Marcus said. "She knows Elena's been struggling. She's using it to build a case." Adrian's fists clenched. Claire had abandoned them, and now she was exploiting Elena's vulnerability to get what she wanted. He wouldn't let her win. The confrontation. Adrian arranged a meeting with Claire at a neutral location, a high-end cafe overlooking the Hudson River. She arrived in a designer coat, her blonde hair perfectly styled, but her eyes were cold, calculating. "Adrian," she purred, sitting across from him. "You look stressed." "Fatherhood not suiting you?" "Cut the act, Claire," he said, sliding the letter across the table. "This stops now." Her smile faltered, but she recovered quickly. "I'm Lily's mother. I have rights." "You gave up those rights when you walked out," Adrian said, his voice low and dangerous. "You're not getting near her. Or Elena." Claire's eyes narrowed. "The maid? Really, Adrian? She's a nobody. I can prove she's unfit to care for our daughter. She's more of a mother to Lily than you ever were," Adrian shot back, his words surprising even himself. "And I'll make sure the courts know it." The confrontation ended with Claire storming out, but Adrian knew it wasn't over. He returned home to find Elena pacing the living room, Lily asleep in her arms. "She's coming for Lily, isn't she?" Elena asked, her voice trembling. "Not if I can help it," Adrian said. "I've got the best lawyers in the city. Claire won't win this." Elena shook her head. "I don't want to cause trouble." "Maybe I should leave." "No," Adrian said firmly. "You're not going anywhere. You're family now." The words slipped out before he could stop it, but as he saw the shock and gratitude in Elena's eyes, he realized he meant it. The resolution. Over the next weeks, Adrian threw his resources into protecting Lily and Elena. His lawyers dismantled Claire's case, exposing her abandonment and her attempt to manipulate the situation. The courts ruled in Adrian's favor, granting him full custody of Lily and issuing a restraining order against Claire. But Adrian didn't stop there. He saw the toll Elena's sacrifices had taken, her sleepless nights, her selflessness for her family and Lily. He set up a trust fund for Elena's mother's medical care and her brother's education, ensuring they were taken care of. He also offered Elena a new role, not as a maid, but as Lily's nanny, with a salary that allowed her to rebuild her life. At first, Elena resisted, uncomfortable with the generosity. "I don't deserve this," she said one evening, as they sat in the nursery watching Lily sleep. "You deserve more than you realize," Adrian replied. "You gave Lily love when I was too busy to see what she needed. You gave me a reason to be better." Elena's eyes softened, and for the first time, Adrian saw her not as an employee, but as a woman who'd faced unimaginable challenges with grace and strength. A spark of something new flickered between them, a possibility neither dared name yet. The inspiring message. Months later, Adrian stood at a Voss tech gala, the room filled with executives and influencers. But his speech wasn't about profits or innovation. It was about Elena, the woman who had taught him that wealth meant nothing without compassion. He announced a new foundation to support single mothers and low-income families, inspired by Elena's story. As he spoke, Elena stood in the crowd holding Lily, who clapped her tiny hands. The audience applauded, but Adrian's eyes were on Thima's daughter and the woman who had become his anchor. Had once thought money could solve everything, but Elena had shown him that true wealth was found in love, trust, and second chances. And as the gala lights dimmed, Adrian knew his life was no longer hollow. It was full of hope, of family, and of a future he couldn't wait to build.